Life is not that much messy. The messy we make. Problems we usually all have, but at the same time, we intensify our problems. First, we resolve our problems, then we seek solutions, then we have perception, and then we try to resolve our problems based on that perception by having the specific framework or the specific reason to perceive that problem. And now we feel worried about that specific reason and we question, did we have the very reason, therefore we have this problem? Or did this perception really work for us or not? Or we feel like it's true and therefore we blindly apply that framework just to resolve our problem. Because we are easygoing people, we do not make efforts. And by the time we try to resolve our problem based on perception or framework or solution that is suggested by someone, we end up resolving our problem with another person's brain. We end up resolving our problem with another person's perception. But that framework sometimes doesn't work. That framework sometimes is not for you. Every single problem is influenced by so many ways. Like some problems are influenced by spiritually, some problems have psychological aspect, some problems have the root cause of a philosophical aspect, and at the same time, some problems simply are influenced by your health, your decisions, and your personality. But by the time we try to resolve our problem merely by having some aspect from an outer person, then we lose our independence. Then we simply do not develop any problem solving ability. Then we lose our capability to develop our own understanding and finding our own solution. Our mission is perfect, our intentions are pure. But the thing is, we blindly accept everything that seems like resonates with us. Something that can be fit, it doesn't mean it really belongs to us. Like, for example, we can have a lot more friends, or we might have some habits that resonate with people. But there are some habits among those people that might not belong to us, or we feel uncomfortable, and we still try to become the part of those people's life. So, in this way, it doesn't mean if something resonates with you, will simply work for you until you develop your own understanding. So, this is the overall emphasis I want to make in this video, and that is the only subject of this video. For example, if someone says, if you are needy, or if you are desperate in relationship, if you chase people, then there was a problem in your childhood. You didn't receive love, care, support from your parents. And now you may feel like it seems true, but then you feel like there was no problem in my childhood. Or you may ask question, was my childhood really so miserable? Did I really have those kind of problems? Or didn't my parents literally love me? And you start worrying about another reason. Or in this way, either you intensify your problem, or you start feeling doubt on your parents, or you start having more problems in your life, and by finding more ways to add more problems in your life just to resolve one problem. Now, you didn't even think my childhood was great. You didn't even think whatever that person has told. Is it really universal law? Or if someone is needy, does it really mean that person had a traumatic childhood or any incident that happened with him that made him needy? We do not question. We do not try to figure out what exactly for us. We find some proof and we try to apply that perception, that framework to resolve our problem. Or every single framework automatically impacts our choices in our life. And our whole life depends on that framework that simply is not for us. At the same time, another thing that I'm gonna tell you with another example. If someone says we shouldn't seek validation, if someone says we should focus on ourselves, if someone says if you are seeking validation, then you will end up losing yourself. It's true, but there is another kind of validation, and the whole system depends on validation. Without validation, you cannot grow. There is a validation that allows you to be yourself. There is a validation that allows you to thrive. For example, you are receiving love and nourishment from your parents. It is the kind of validation you need. You need a job, and then you need the validation of your employer. Then you will get the job. Therefore, you are dependent on that validation. Now you need a love. Until you are being loved, you won't be ever to live with that specific person. You won't be ever to take the responsibility of that person. So it is the kind of validation too. From the beginning to end, our whole system depends on validation. And this kind of validation is really necessary in our life. But we simply feel that validation is bad for us, it's a curse. But we do not ever question. Sometimes it is said that giving up is a curse. We shouldn't ever give up. And we simply believe we literally shouldn't give up. And we try to push ourselves. Or even if we give up, we beat ourselves out. That is not a good thing. But have you ever tried to ask question to yourself? Does give up really make sense in every single situation? Or do you really know anyone who hasn't ever given up and he's successful? Everyone gives up in their life. Everyone chooses different journey. When we figure out we are not reaching to our destination, when we figure out our problems are not getting resolved, when we figure out we are not able to resolve our problems, and we every single time ending up with burnout, with emotional damage, and all of our resources have already been spent, then giving up really makes sense. So we do not try to answer, we do not try to cut all other noises that are around us. If we really want to resolve our problem, then questioning really makes sense and we have to ask questions. Only two things you need to do, just two things. First, whatever you are listening anywhere, make a column, sit with yourself. This is what I know. This is what I believe. This is that resonates with me, or this is my problem. And now think about your personal experiences. Cut all other noises and figure out whether does it really work for you or not based on your life experiences. Or if you try to apply this approach in this way, how will it impact? Your answer may be yes or no, or you will come up with a different perception that really works for you. And you will be able to know how do you actually think. Or you may find a missing piece in that perception or framework that is told. Every single framework is incomplete, but every single framework can only be completed if we add our own touch, our own way of thinking. If we improvise that framework and then try to resolve our problem, then all the things that are suggested might make sense for you, might not make sense for you, but ultimately, whatever you will discover will make sense to you every single time if you develop your own understanding. Cut all other noises. Just simply believe this is the thing that people told me. This is the thing that resonating in this way. These are the things that are supporting this problem just because of this framework. Or there are some different aspect of this problem too that are not supporting. So what could be the another aspect? You will figure out that aspect if you spend time with yourself. And in this way, you'll be able to have your own brain, develop your own brain. I'm not saying whatever is told by public figure is invalid. It's valid, but it's just only one way to resolve that problem. They have enough knowledge. They did a lot more work in their life. They are at specific level. The framework that they have suggested worked for them, and it worked for people. They got validation from them and then from people, and now they are suggesting the very thing. But here is a one loophole too. People change, their perceptions change. If one person is saying giving up doesn't make sense, sometime they may ask, in some situations, literally, we can give up. Or by the time you try to embrace one perception, you will end up hearing the same perception in a different way from the same person, and now you will feel confused. You may ask questions. Earlier, you were asking, we shouldn't give up. Now you are asking in some situations, giving up makes sense. Now, what exactly do you want? But that's how we grow. That's how we develop our other perception. That's how we literally reach to the conclusion that literally makes sense. Therefore, it is necessary to develop our own brain, our own understanding of resolving problems, our own belief, rather than simply keep living our life based on others' belief, others' perception, others' way of resolving problems, or applying others' tactics to resolve our problems. Yours problem are different, their problem are different, even problems are same, but answers usually can't ever be the same. Because again, you have different disposition, you have different way of resolving problem. You may feel different, another person may feel different against the same problem. Therefore, they have different solution. So you have to have the skill of developing your own way of resolving your problem. It's easy peasy. Just do one thing, whatever you are listening, just listen, jot down, try to connect with that your problem. If it works, you can do that. If it doesn't work, then it's fine. But try to compare that thing with your own belief. What exactly do you think about that? Do you really agree with that or not? Or you might be partially agree with that. And what the balance remain in that partiality? Simply try to fill that gap. Or you can simply wait because answers usually do not come up the moment we want. So don't blindly apply whatever is told by people on internet. Everyone is simply just jack of all trades. They are not expert in psychology. They are not expert in resolving our human mind's problem. They are not expert in philosophy. They are not expert in any specific field that is the root cause of our problem. They just have knowledge of every single thing. They are just jack of all trades but master of none. But their ways are valid, their ways can be useful for yourself. But it doesn't mean that every single thing that they suggest will work for you. You have to find your way. Again, with due respect, I'm not invalidating their work. I do follow so many people. I do follow Mark Manson. I love the work of Austin Kleon. I love the work of Elizabeth Gilbert. I love the work of Jay Shetty. These are my idols. But at the same time, I try to question whatever they ask, whatever they suggest, and try to figure out whether does it work or not. Or simply I mention beneath their video like this thing in this way. If I feel something missing, Or sometime I come up with that missing piece, sometime I do have my own questions. And the whole time I spent in this way so that I could develop my own understanding of resolving problems. Even Immanuel Kant, who was a German philosopher, emphasized on this thing. In the era of internet, people should have their own understanding. And he told this thing centuries ago, and still it's valid. So chase that knowledge that works for you, or find that missing piece in something that is suggested on internet. And revere those people. Don't invalidate those people, their work, because they are doing remarkable job. They are changing lives. They have spent a lot more time on them, on their personality. They have nurtured skills. That's why they are at specific level and people are following them. And I revere those people who authentically want to save people, or authentically they want to guide people, and they share true knowledge. And I do revere those people who are not agree with those people too, and they simply say this man makes zero sense, because they are aware about their life. They know whatever that person is saying simply doesn't apply. So you should be a critic too. Whatever you are receiving from internet, if it doesn't work, so be aware, develop your own understanding, ask questions to yourself, cut out all noises, juxtapose everything. This is your belief, this is what is told, this is my problem, and this is something that resonates, and this is something that doesn't resonate. And now, what my way of resolving problem? This is. It will be so easy for you and everyone if you simply could spend some time on resolving your problem by having patience without having any urgency to seek instant solution. And it will be really a fun for you if you literally could find your own answer by your way, because you know a lot more about yourself, but you need to know a lot more about yourself. That's what I believe. And in this way you can resolve any problem in your life, and you can save yourself from having more problems in your life. Like the way I mentioned, now you are thinking about your own childhood. Where is your child was great. So you don't have to attract more problems in your life. First, you are worrying about problems, then you are worrying the aspect of that specific problem. And now you start doubting in your love, in your parents. So simply save yourself from all these kind of situations and focus only on that one specific problem. You do not need to find all the answers. You do not need to hurry to resolve any problem. What exactly matters? The right solution for us. And allow some time to yourself and to your life to bring that solution on your plate. But you have to work for that. You have to contemplate. You have to ask questions. And you have to believe in timing and on yourself. Solutions will come up. Either solutions will come up or impossible things will start seem possible, and you may detect the original problem if you develop your own understanding. The whole life will be so simple. And with this beautiful thought, I wish you'll be able to make your life easy. You'll be able to have some peace. You'll be able to find your own perception, and easily you will be handling all problems efficiently. You will be feeling contentful, bringing smiles on people's face by sharing smiles from yourself, having love from others, and giving love to others. You will be making this world a beautiful and better place to live. That's all I gotta say about this. Signing off, Vivek Kumar, your buddy. Bye bye.